Hey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
I just wanted to let y'all know it's recording. Just an FYI. If I don't set it to automatically record, I will start recording 6 minutes and 20 seconds in. So
I've done that for lectures, and the whole lecture would be going by.
oh no, Heather, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And we're going to be very mindful of time, and today is, I hate to say it's like an intro, but it's really just a time I'm going to share some of my experience, and y'all can share some of your experience, and we're just all going to learn and have fun together, because what else would we be doing today except sharing time together? Just kidding. I know you have a lot to do. We've just got another minute, so I'm going to see who else. Here's Dr. Clark. And let's see. Heather Adams, will you be here for a bit? May I add you as a co-host so you can help track the chat?
Sure.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. And it's 12 o'clock. So if, and Heather, if you'll look for people that might be joining us, that would be so helpful as well. Well, first of all, I want to welcome you all today. Thank you so very much. I think most of you, some of you have taught UNIV before. You've all been teachers, professors before. And so I'm just really thankful that you've taken this time to join us. This session is being recorded right now, and I'm going to upload this to the UNIV faculty YouTube channel. I'll send you the link, and you can also access other videos that we have there as well. If everybody would, if you don't mind, let's go around the square and introduce ourselves, because I don't know if everybody knows each other. I'll start with myself. I'm Amy Ingram. I'm the manager of the UNIV Student Success Program. Paul, will you go next? Paul Arrington, will you go next and then tag somebody?
Of course. Well, good almost afternoon, everybody. I'm Paul Arrington. I'm one of the lecturers and student success mentors in the UNIV Student Success Program. Heather Adams, why not?
So my name's Heather Adams. I'm also one of the UNIV instructors and success mentors. I've been in this role for 2 years. And I'm going to tag Heather Baker because we share a name. So hi, Heather.
So you know we got to be great, right? My name is Heather Baker, and I've actually never taught this course before. I am an assistant clinical professor in the School of Nursing, and I'm also the nursing lab coordinator starting in the fall. So I'm really excited about doing this and kind of directing the students towards the specialty of nursing.
Right. You want to tag somebody, Heather? Or?
I will tag Christine. Is that how you say your name?
Kristen. It's Kristen.
Kristen.
Yes. Hello. I'm Kristen Lejeune. I'm an academic advisor in the Office of Central Advising. And as such, I will hit my boss's boss, Dr. Clark.
Hazards. I'm Joy Clark. I'm the Associate Provost for Undergraduate Studies. And I have taught UNIV, but it's been a bit. And I will tag Chelsea.
I'm Chelsea Ward. I'm Chair of Biology and Environmental Science. And this is my second time teaching UNIV, and we teach the STEM UNIV, which is kind of cool. So I'll tag Phil.
Hey, I'm Phil Johnson, Dean of the Library, 504 Compliance Officer. UNIV teacher for what, 5 years now, Amy? Almost exclusively with the bridge students. I've had a couple of the regular UNIV classes, but almost always with the bridge because I root for the underdogs. So I'm going to tag Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. I am Elizabeth Burrows. I have been teaching UNIV for a very long time because I can't remember how long it's been. Almost as soon as I could when I joined AUM in 2013. I was already interested in teaching UNIV. And so I try to do it as often as Amy will let me. And yeah, I really enjoy it. Otherwise, I teach English composition and literature surveys and in the honors college. Who have we not tagged? I guess Leanne. Is Leanne gone?
Hi, I'm Leanne Rees. I'm an academic advisor in the College of Business, and I will be teaching the UNIV section for the College of Business. It's been a couple of years since I've taught UNIV, but I'm excited. I don't know who else is not.
We have one last to tag. We have Dean McMichael.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happened to my video here. I'm not even sure what that symbol is. But I'm Andrew McMichael. I'm the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences. And I'll be teaching UNIV 1000 for the first time. And I'm going to figure out why my video is putting up a space alien. Do you see a space alien disc, or is that what you see? Like,
Yes.
Okay.
It's your snap camera.
Yeah, it's a Snapchat thing.
Well, isn't that interesting?
It looks like your teenage son might have shanghaied your computer in some way.
That's unlikely. I'm in my office, so.
If you've got a snap camera, if it's not working properly, that's the symbol it puts up typically.
Okay, I'll have to figure out why I even have a snap camera and what that is. So, okay, I'm listening though.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, first of all, I wanted to say that disclaimer, I don't know everything. Sometimes I think I do. I have life experience. I have experience teaching UNIV. I have experience with research and student success and retention issues. But the great thing about UNIV is that it's a collaboration. It's a team effort. It takes everyone. Everybody brings great strengths and positives to the table. So we're here to learn from each other. So I might be talking a little bit too much today. And if so, feel free to raise your hand, mute me. Heather, you can, I guess, since you're a co-host. But we're just going to go over a few things, and I want to share a few, UNIV's changed through the years. That's one of the great things about it is we take our student feedback, our feedback from our professors. We look at trends, we look at who our students are, and then we make adjustments to the course based on that. Just a quick question for everybody, and feel free to unmute yourself and just jump in and share. There are no right or wrong answers, just want to get some thoughts going on. Who should attend college, and what qualities or characteristics do you think they need to be successful? Feel free to jump in. Who should attend? Who should come?
I think anyone who has the desire to have more education or to should be able to attend college. Anyone who has that desire or has that drive, and the qualities and characteristics to be successful, I think there's a lot of qualities and characteristics that they need to be successful. I don't think it just weighs in on one or two. I think it's a combination. So each one has its own weight as far as time management and being able to juggle different things. So I think it's a combination of a lot of qualities that they will need to learn and they will need to put together to be able to be successful in college.
Thank you, Hannah. Anybody else? Oh, is there something in the chat? Let's see.
That was from me. I just have the ability to self-advocate. So I think that the students I've seen who've been the most successful are the ones who know themselves, know what they need, and aren't afraid to ask for it. I have a lot of non-traditional students who are either parents or they work full-time, and a lot of them this summer have they reached out early and said, can you please help me with time management? I have a lot going on. I know that this is an area where I need to grow. I'd love to hear your opinion. So that ability, I think, more than, just basic intellect or high performance, really does ensure success.
I'm going to second that, the ability to ask questions and to not be afraid to ask questions and ask for help. Even the poor seniors that for some reason refuse. Can't get them to ask for help. That would be my number one.
I think the ones that I have that seem to do the best are the ones that have a goal. And it doesn't necessarily have to have a career goal. And I think a goal is different than a hope. A lot of them have a kind of vague hope that college will lead to good life, yay. But a goal is, I want to have a job with health insurance. I want to be this particular thing. I had a student tell me the other day that they wanted to have a job where they could sit at a desk because her parents stood in restaurants or they did cleaning work, and she wanted a job where she could sit at a desk, and that was her driving thing. And that's enough. It's working for her. So a goal, however modest, is something, and it's more than a hope. I think those are the ones that do really well.
Awesome.
I think that grit and stick-to-itiveness are really important because they're going to mess something up. They're not going to read an email. They're going to turn in a blank assignment or whatever it is. And they need to have the ability to try again. And with that, to be able to learn that there's a difference between constructive feedback and just outright criticism.
And just briefly, gosh, Dr. Clark, I might put you on the spot because I know that you've been here for many years. Have you seen, obviously we have, but there's been a change in the type of student that we've seen attend college, say from 30 years ago to today. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, in coming out of the College of Business, when it was a school, and my department was in it, we worked mostly with, in business, we always had non-traditional students, but the traditional students were the 18-year-olds and not really having to do anything other than go to school and coming from fairly successful preparation from their high schools. And they came with an expectation that they were going to have to commit to their studies, that this is their focus. And what we've seen happen over the course of that time is a tremendous change in the number of things challenging students for pieces of their time, right? And so attention spans are split. And now we're having to earn their attention, right? Which for a lot of people of my generation, but not necessarily me, the notion that you would have to earn a student's attention goes against everything they believe. That this is, education is a gift. We are presenting you with an opportunity you should take advantage of, right? And the reality is those things are still true, but in fact, we're competing for people's attention.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. And just a note, and on that, moving on, faculty perceptions, and again, faculty are different. They come from different backgrounds, different time, different generation. I've been doing some research and looking at dissertation topics and things. Believe it or not, faculty perceptions have a direct impact on student success, and it can. So who are our students? Well, here you go. We have our new students today, within the last few years, are first gen. Now, somebody let them in. I don't have an exact percent on first gen, but that's okay. It's anywhere from 35% to over 50%. I think we're working on getting that information. Let's just say it's a lot. We have underrepresented minorities. We have students that are underprepared. We have non-traditional, we have international, we have transfer, and we have the traditional, who again now Gen Y, Gen Z, millennials. If you look here at, I took this from the AUM data website and just shows, you know, the students that we have coming in right now, and the majority are Black or African American. You know, we have quite a diverse student body. And so these students are coming in and they don't necessarily have maybe all those qualities that we mentioned. Some of them might. So you know, what are we to do? Does it mean, oh, well, you don't have this, so you shouldn't come? Well, our challenge, our goal is to utilize our resources here at AUM and help them succeed and gain those characteristics and those skills that they need to be successful. Just a little bit of research background. Vincent Tinto, this is his model of student motivation and persistence. And basically and some of you mentioned this, students who have goals, who are motivated, they're going to be more likely to persist. Those with self-efficacy, those that have a sense of belonging, those that have an appropriate perception of curriculum. So if these students don't have these things, what can UNIV do? UNIV is designed to help increase motivation. We help students set SMART goals through our processes, through sharing, through collaboration, through our active learning, through our care. They learn a sense of belonging. They gain self-efficacy. And again, the pyramid of student success, if you'll see, the foundation is relational trust, mutual care, and respect. And this is from Dr. Palacios, and she presented this at San Diego Mesa College Conference in relation to underserved students. So again, we want to build a relationship, then we want to use our effective practices, and then students are more likely to succeed. What concerns do AUM freshmen have? Well, we sort of talked about that. This came from different activities that we've had in classrooms. I got some feedback from other professors. I did this in my class as well. Some of you may have. They have said they're afraid to fail. Their family expects a lot of them. They're the first gen. They want to do well. They're afraid people aren't going to like them. They don't have money. They don't have enough money to pay for housing or for their books or sometimes food. They're confused. Think about all the information that we are presenting these students with. If they're first gen, they don't have anybody to prepare them for that. And so they're trying to absorb all this. They're overwhelmed. They have a schedule. You have to recheck your schedule, make sure you're in this class, a lot of things. So our students have said these are some of the things they're worried about. And as Dr. Clark alluded to earlier, they've got a lot of extra pressures on them on top of trying to be successful. I know I'm running through this, so y'all feel free to jump in if you'd like to. I'm getting to a point where we're going to look at the website, the Blackboard and syllabus, so please feel free to interrupt me. This is what UNIV is about. And again, some of you are teaching specialized sections. You have flexibility. You have creative freedoms. But basically in UNIV, we have peer mentors. You can get a one-on-one mentor through Mentor Collective, which is part of our program. UNIV connects our students, but also embedded mentors within your UNIV class. And we have the opportunity to add a peer mentor to each of your classes. So we're working on that. Have you worked with a peer mentor in your class? Maybe not. Are you sure how to do it? Maybe not. Well, guess what? We're going to help prepare you. We'll get you together. It's really great to have peer mentors to help our students. We use alternative assessments. We don't have a sit-down exam. Students for the midterm and final do a project. It's really rather fun. And I'm sorry, guys. Let me go previous. We'll go over these in detail later, but I just want to show you some of these practices. Active learning. One of the great things in UNIV is that you don't have to feel pressure of standing up and lecturing for 55 to 70 minutes. You get to share with students about what they've read, what they've learned, and then they get an opportunity in class to practice those skills with a partner, by themselves sometimes, in a group. They get to do things. And this is one of the most important parts of UNIV. We're trying to build learning communities right now through the colleges and different disciplines. We're hoping to eventually get back to living communities and pairing classes up so these students have a stronger cohort with which they can build their time at AUM. We have service learning projects. We have the Experiential Education and Engagement Center. We have so many new opportunities for students that they can get involved, and research shows the students that are involved, that are connected, they are more likely to persist, be retained, and graduate. And again, we have group activities and projects in class, out of class, lots of activities. And these are the ways that UNIV helps students be successful. We support them by insisting in their transition. They build community. Again, we talked about some of the things that Tinto mentioned that students need to be successful. We can help increase their motivation. We encourage them. Y'all, we connect them to the resources. They don't know. These first gens come in, they don't know we have a counseling center or a health center, the WASC, tutoring, peer mentors, clubs, orgs, 2 financial counselors.
Can I just jump in here, Amy, and
Please,
just say,
please.
a resource my students have really appreciated being told directly about is the AUM food pantry. A lot of them don't know about it, and it's not a resource they're super familiar with unless, especially their UNIV teacher tells them. And I've had several benefit from it.
Thank you, Heather. And in UNIV, and again, this is some things that I'm going to share with you, that I shared the syllabus. I'm going to add you all to this Blackboard course and show you buttons where to put these things. Each week, there's a chapter or something related to one. Introduce them there, help them with their planner so they can write this down, because they're going to need this information for later. They don't just need it their first semester. They're going to need this continuously. But these are the kind of things that helps them overcome their challenges. Then they feel, oh, wait, so now I know I can do this. Okay, good. Phew. Then they're going to tell their friend, did you know? And then they're going to tell a friend, and then everybody's going to be going. We show care and compassion. We're not hand holders. We're not babysitters. Are these students different? Yes. Do they need a little more support? Some of them do. That's okay. It's okay to care. It's okay. In UNIV, I don't know if you knew this, but if a student plagiarizes, we don't fail them for the course. We have them sign a contract, and understanding what they did, it's a learning process. So UNIV is the place where students, if they're going to make a mistake or go through the learning process, this is the class in which they can do it. We challenge people, again, I just said, safe space. They're meeting new people. Y'all, I taught a UNIV class several years ago, and we had a Muslim student, and one of his classmates asked him about terrorism for Muslims, and this student chose to ask me, can I make a presentation for the class? And I said, absolutely. So this student created a PowerPoint, got up in front of students, taught the students about his culture, about his religion, and it was amazing. It was so great that they learn from each other. But again, they're going to come up against people that are different from them, but UNIV is safe. Might somebody say something inappropriate? They might, but we're going to teach them the appropriate way, and they're going to learn. So it's really great. New perspectives. Okay, we want them connected to you, to us, the material. Of course, your specialized sections, you want them to know more about your college, about all those professors, the department, their major, advising their friends. We want them to connect to the community, and of course, the local and global community as well. Okay, I kind of ran through some things. I forgot to mention something that I really wanted to share about active learning strategies. Thank y'all so much for letting me say this. People have different teaching styles and ways. Sometimes we're used to teaching a certain way. For example, in biology is a lecture class. I get it. There are some things. Well, there was this story about a professor who taught active learning and active learning strategies. And so his supervisor came in to give an evaluation. And of course, the class was separated in groups. Y'all may have heard this. And they were all talking and moving around and participating in learning. And the supervisor went to the the professor and said, I'll come back later when some teaching and learning is going on. And so, hello, that was a perfect example in terms of active learning of what's actually going on. So by all means, I hope your class is a little loud, is a little messy, is a little congested. Thank goodness COVID is coming to an end, because that was really difficult. But anyways, I just thought that was great. Letting students talk, that we want to hear from them. One activity I did, and then I'm going to stop talking and let y'all talk for a minute. At the beginning of every semester, I would let my students, when I was doing face-to-face, take the textbook. They could work with a partner in groups, and I let them rank from most important to the least important topics in the textbook. So by chapters, so they could rank them. And then I said, which ones would you cut? And I said, only thing you need to do is tell me and back up your reason with a good response. And I had some students listing like wellness at the bottom, some listed at number 1, but it gave them all a chance to think, to discuss and see, first of all, are these things necessary? Do I already know? How can I apply this topic in a way that I haven't learned before? And it was really interesting. So anyways, all right, let me end my show. I'll stop sharing. Before we take a look at the syllabus, does anybody have anything they want to share? I'd love to hear from you about your experiences or your lack of experience, maybe not concern or just questions you might have about teaching a UNIV class.
I'll actually share. I know we have a couple of people teaching UNIV for the first time. And I did a new activity, sort of an intro activity this year that Paul is going to steal soon. And I allowed students to share with me 5 memes that they felt like described to them. So as we're talking about sort of an alternate way of teaching, this is a trend that's been online this year of people introducing themselves just by sharing memes that they feel represent them. And I have to say, it was truly delightful. I had students who told me later that school's hard for them, but they were so excited they actually went and made memes just for our class. And so it was a really nice way to get them engaged immediately in a modality that they're all very comfortable with for the most part. I did give them an option to not do that part. If they just wanted to introduce themselves in paragraph form, they could as well. But most of my students did choose to engage with that activity. And I have to be honest, I feel like I actually learned more about them than if I had just had them introduce themselves with their writing. So it was a really interesting activity. If you're not super familiar or comfortable with non-lecture form stuff, it's a nice way to start.
I love that. That's fantastic. I'm writing it down.
And the great thing about that is, I'm going to show you in just a minute that you're all going to be added to a Blackboard community resource where these resources will be added. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again and we can move right along. Now, usually the first day of class, there is a little more talking on the professor's side than others. So let's just say that's what's going on here. All right, in Blackboard, I just want to show you a couple of things, briefly look at the syllabus, and then answer questions and see how else I can support you. I will be adding each of you to this. It's going to say WASC UNIV instructors or UNIV instructor organization. Here you're going to come to a lovely introduction, and over here you're going to find links to resources. So we have previous semester syllabi. This was a previous Humans of AUM that we utilized. I hid it, but you can still see it, I believe. Different UNIV documents. We have curriculum resources here based on topic. Feel free to add some of your ideas. Guys, you know how I got some of my best ones? Google, sharing, listservs, and I'll be happy to add you to those. We have professional development resources. Again, click in, that one's empty. but it's available. Building community. Again, there are a lot of great resources over here. We have some research based links. So anyways, this is going to be really helpful. Again, I'm going to give you the link to this. This is our UNIV YouTube channel for instructors. So you can come here and look at previous presentations, but today's presentation will be saved and shared here. It's not public. Let's see. Chat. Oh, gotcha. It's not public. So anybody who has the link can look at it. Just, I don't know why we said it that way, but we did. Okay, the next thing I'd like to show you is I'm going to add you all to, this is like a sandbox course for UNIV. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. All right, now, one of the great things about UNIV is that we will do as much for you or as minimal. If you want to do your own Blackboard, you can, but there's certain things that you kind of need to include. This is like a practice place, and you can copy things from here. Now, Paul Arrington was so gracious to let me, okay, Chelsea raised her hand, please jump right in.
So is the new Blackboard shell in Ultra or in Blackboard 9?
That is a great question. I think this is Ultra. Does this look like Ultra to you guys? The reason I say that is because I can't add a, let me look. I can tell you in just a second. No, I think this is tool availability. Let me go to teaching style. If I can add a, no. Let me get back with you on that. I asked Heather McCormick, who is, by the way, our Blackboard person, and OD, is it ODE? I think she told me that it's the regular. But I'll get back and let you know. Is that okay, Chelsea and everybody?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, thank you, Paul. But anyways, this is the shell where you can look and see it. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. I've written some notes here. He does a great intro video. Of course, this was also a time when students weren't required to come face to face. That's up to you. You don't have to do that. I think Heather does this and our other instructors do too. Just a little announcement. Great to use announcements because they get it every week. Have your syllabus here. We've got a draft. I emailed it to you today. You don't have to use that format. You can use your own. You can make some changes, include your information, and then of course the weekly course content, the link to our textbook, all of that is here. So I just wanted you to see this and be aware. If you don't want to look in this, you don't really have to, but I think it will be very helpful. And if you need assistance with doing any of this, please let me know. We do ask that you have things in place a week before classes start, just because students will have access. And if there are glitches, we have to make sure the grade center is set and things of that nature. Let's see what's in the chat.
I have a quick question.
Please ask.
So the upload for the book, will they automatically have that, or do we need to put that in our Blackboard as a link?
You're going to have to add this. This is, I added this. You can actually come in here when y'all will all be added this week. The reason I haven't added you yet is because a few things have not been updated, and I don't want you to come in here and take something that's old and outdated. You're going to have to add this link. Very good question. But Blackboard is critically important to UNIV students. Get resources, and here we add the resources on the side. There was a link to the food pantry. So we want students to be able to utilize Blackboard, and this is a great place. Every class that I have, I always open this first. Hey everybody, here we are. Reminder, here's our announcements. Let's go to today. This is what we're going to talk about. Oh, and remember for next time, that kind of stuff. Just walk them through and they'll get used to it. Let's see what else is in the chat.
Well, and I'll just add to Amy, if you don't mind. One thing I do at the beginning of the semester is I do a screen recording where I walk them through how to utilize Blackboard, how to turn in assignments, how to attach a document, because I still pull it up in class and show them but a lot of times they'll have a question when they're getting ready to submit a document. And it sort of helps ease my email burden of many people emailing to ask, oh, where do I turn in that assignment? When they can go back and refer to that How to Blackboard video that I post right at the beginning of the semester.
Yep. And laptop information, I have it too. I created a video. We also have a video that walked them through the financial aid process. This was really helpful. I think it's in week 1. Anyways, I don't want to hijack your time to go over all of that. Here it is. So one of the first things that we try to do the first week of class is to help students check their financial aid account, check their student account. Do you have outstanding requirements? Do you have loans or scholarships you haven't accepted? Y'all wouldn't believe how much money students leave out there. And if we just guide them through, hey, everybody, open up your laptop, ask them to bring them, open up your phone, run to the computer lab across the way, or y'all even reserve a computer lab and I can help you do that. Walk them through the steps. Have you met your requirements? Accept it. If they have an outstanding balance, please go to student accounts. If they're not sure to get there, let your peer mentor go with them, send 2 together, take them yourself. But if we do this at the beginning of the semester, then 3 weeks later, when they're dropped and you have 10 people gone from your class and then they can't access Blackboard, and then what about their assignments? So we try to nip this in the bud. And always remember, I'm here. If you need additional support, you can send your students to my office. I'll meet them. We'll do whatever we can. We have financial counselors. We'll do anything to help them that we can.
On that note, Amy, I always try to track where we are in the about to drop students who are the non-payment thing. I'm sure student accounts tells them to keep going to class.
They do, and we tell them.
We do too, yeah, but for some reason they still act like they don't know, or I hear all the time that they don't know.
Right.
So I try to tell mine, because they've gotten to where they'll read my emails. Hey, keep going to class. You only owe $3,004. Pay $4, or whatever. And so I know you said that is written into UNIV is you could be dropped, but do not stop coming. You will still have access to Blackboard. They know what they find out all that in UNIV.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We absolutely sell that. I know Heather shares it, Paul, anybody's taught this before. And I work very closely with the office and they keep me posted. For example,
okay,
the academic calendar might say that the date is Friday.
right.
Sometimes they give them till Monday before they do the drop, and then they give them a grace period of a week to stay in Blackboard. We break that down.
Very good. Okay, excellent. Okay, good.
And I always recommend using announcements, because if you send emails, students have to go and scroll. But if you use this announcement, they can, it's pinned. They can always come back. And of course, you can always send it right away. Just go down here and click send a copy right away.
Hey, Amy, I have another quick question.
Please ask.
On the tutorial for the financial aid and their student account information, is that something that's listed in here that the tutorial I can copy and paste into my?
You absolutely can. It's embedded. And look, I don't know if you've gone through Blackboard training, and this is something, and I can help too, but you're going to need to come under content collection, go to the sandbox, and you're going to find it. It's going to be a financial aid. And I copied a lot of Paul's stuff over here.
Gotcha.
Financial aid. Financial presentation. I can't remember how I listed, but it's here. And if you have trouble finding it, I will send it, but it has to be here if I embedded it, I think. Yes. I'll find it. Let me make a note of that, Heather. I'll find the title.
Okay.
So you can come in and get it. All right. Anybody else have any questions about this? And again, I've made some notes for the other questions. I know this is a lot that I've thrown in the short period of time, but I did want you to see it. And do you think this will be helpful to you, those who haven't taught? Or okay, great, great, great. And the other handouts, and Heather, Heather Baker, where I just showed you the content collection, that's where you'll find those handouts. The last thing that I really wanted to show you all is this syllabus. And I wanted to share about an upcoming training. I emailed everybody this. There are a few notes over here for you. This is a Tuesday, Thursday. You don't have to use this format. The course description has to remain the same, the learning outcomes, the assignment percentages need to remain the same. But the great thing about UNIV is we're not sending them home with a ton of overwhelming homework that's not meaningful. Their assignments will be done, most of them in class, some things they have to do outside of class. Right here, I've got new student convocation. Now, we have no really idea confirmed yet, but I'm just assuming based on my experience, we're going to have it first Friday of classes. So just be prepared to be flexible if we have to change that. Just feel free to look through this. We build in time in class to work on some of the major assignments. So if they have questions, if they need resources, they can get them. I just think that's very important for students. So again, just, you know, feel free to look through that. Feel free to take time. If you want to meet with me one-on-one or with some of our other faculty members, I'm happy to help you in any way I can. Okay, well, that's a lot of me. Anything you want to share? Anybody at all? Ideas, reflections, concerns? Please feel free. And if you don't want to share here, feel free to reach out privately. Is something like this helpful to you all? A session like this? Okay, great. And again, if you can't attend, it's okay. It's recording. I'm going to send it to y'all, and you can watch it as you have some Doritos while you're sitting around, just hanging out.
Even teaching this several semesters, you know, going through these sessions and listening to the new issues that are brought up and things that, and going through this, it never gets old and it never is unuseful. You know what I mean? Like, I always, no matter whether I come into a professional development or something like this for new teachers or teaching UNIV always changes. So, you know, this is the most helpful environment for you know, when you start teaching UNIV, for sure.
If you're teaching a bridge section or conditional section, it is a little different. The syllabus is a little different. A few things are different that we're working on that as well. I think Jessica, you're in here, and I know Paul and Heather also teach a section, Heather Adams, but those will be out to you soon. And I'm also going to put you in one of Sissy's previous classes so you can take a look. What other questions, comments, concerns, discussion points would you like to talk about?
For first timers like me, what is whenever you look back on your first class that you did, the first semester that you did this, what is the biggest mistake that you made and how can I avoid it?
Is this question for everybody?
Yeah, y'all go ahead.
I can answer.
Jump in.
So for me, I came in, I was really new, and I really stuck closely to the textbook and the textbook material, and I did allow conversation and such, but I've learned from my students that every single class is just different, and asking them early what matters to them and adjusting your teaching is such a key thing that, I mean, if we're all here for students to be successful, that's what's going to do it. I started out, not my first semester, but after that, I started doing a survey at the beginning of class, like the beginning of the semester, where I asked them what, was there something they wanted me to know? And that's where I found out a lot of my students had severe anxiety, which I've seen rising every semester I've been here. And that really helped me because then I noticed if a student was missing or, they missed a couple of classes and I reached out to them, that was an opening for them to respond rather than do the scary thing of reaching out first. So getting to know your students early and remembering that they're the focus rather than the content is really useful. And I'm happy to share some examples of my beginning of class surveys. I know Paul does one as well. So I think we're both happy to share if anyone would like to see what we ask.
Absolutely.
I echo Heather's comment in that, in fact, in my student evaluations, about halfway through, I started deviating from, I started following the flow of the class, and and things that I wanted to share with them and things that they were interested in. And in fact, in the student evaluations, they came back and said she needs to trust herself more to pursue what she wants to talk about, and that not sticking so much with we have to do it this way. Yeah, so that's definitely echoing what Heather says, and I would love to see a survey. Heather, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, me too. I'd like the survey for the beginning.
Heather, can you upload those in the Blackboard community? Can you make a folder for that?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Getting student feedback early. That's all I would say, just getting it from day one.
Yeah.
And I'll add actually that I do a check-in in the summer, I'm doing it every 2 weeks. In the fall, I usually do it every 3 to 4 weeks. So I just did another, and I use Google Forms, but I know Paul, I think, uses Qualtrics, and asking them, how are you? Not just in our class, how are your other classes going? And that's a way I've caught some potential problems in other classes and able to help students connect to the tutoring center or ISL. I know Paul has done the same because a lot of times, even though they're not, we're not teaching that course, we're sort of their first line of defense for all their courses. So, and those Google Forms or Qualtrics forms are so easy to use and so informative.
I love Qualtrics.
Yeah.
And Heather has sorry, Paul, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was gonna say, Heather has a great training session about making these, or Paul does, about making a Google form. Didn't y'all create a professional development one time about using Google Forms or docs or surveys? For some reason,
No,
I may
that's a great idea.
I may have made a handout about that at some point.
Okay, well, guess what, everybody? If we don't have one, we'll make one. It'll be in the Blackboard community. Paul,
I have not used them here with UNIV or in my job role, but I've used it with some of my association work, and it's so awesome. It is so great.
One of the things that I did, one of the mistakes that I made my first semester when I started, is I put all the emphasis on content and would leave, 5-10 minutes at the end of class. Okay, let's do a quick walk through assignments. Let's make sure everyone's good to go. Thank you. Have a good day. And then we just started having I noticed more questions at the beginning of the class the next time we would meet. And so I have really worked on telling them up front at the beginning of the semester, I cannot cover everything in the book. I will not try to cover everything in the book. Part of you being a college student is you are responsible for doing some of this. I'm going to hit highlights, but it's about what you need. I'm basing it on what other classes have told me, what you tell me you need. And so I tell them early that they've got a couple of options. They can either not do the reading and miss a good chunk of what they need to know, or they can do the reading and have some good background and come ready for some questions in class. Okay. And I think telling them at the beginning that it's not an inordinate amount of reading, an inordinate amount of work, but you do need to do some prep so that you can come. And that typically works pretty well.
Okay, that's great advice.
I just saw something pop up in the chat there.
Heather also expected students to be able to infer more at the beginning. So now, honestly, letting students do more in the class, they really enjoyed it because sometimes I feel bad about saying this, but I'm going to. UNIV is not rocket science. Does that mean it's not important? No, but it's not. But this class does take purposeful preparation and thoughtfulness because it takes a hot second it doesn't take anything to read off PowerPoint or just say, okay, turn the next, but it takes some planning. What can they do in class? And we have a lot of resources, but what can they do? How can they connect to the material in class? Do things, make it interesting for them. We get feedback pre and post course surveys, and man, at the end, they're like, thank goodness for this class. Thank you. Well, at first I thought this was such a waste of time and money, but oh my gosh, it's helped me so much. And just, I mean, it goes on and on and on because they had a great time. It was fun. It was engaging. They learned.
If a student, and I have seen this before, if a student has made a D or an F or even a C in UNIV, what have they been doing to get to that place?
Not coming.
Just okay.
And typically for me, the ones that end up with kind of C's and below, that typically happens for two reasons. One, they just start off not doing anything, or they're pretty good the first half, and then they just kind of ghost after midterm. And so typically, if I can get them that beginning part, we're more successful. But yeah, there's kind of two time periods I have to watch for.
And it's really important because, believe it or not, UNIV is a gauge. If you see students starting to do poorly in UNIV, hop on up, talk to them, because something's happening somewhere else. There are other classes. And this is why I always say, take attendance every class. You want to see who's missing. I missed you. Are you okay? There's so many resources, but yeah, if somebody's doing poorly in UNIV, chances are, very high chance they're doing poorly elsewhere and they need some help.
I often will text them in the middle of class if they're absent.
If they see you care, they're there. I've noticed that they'll start coming back. You know, if you say, oh, you know, you've been missing, yeah, let's talk after class, they'll start showing up because they're like, oh, she's gonna see I'm missing.
I'll add as well. I had a student in the fall who said, after about the 4th week, you're the only professor who knows my name. And that mattered to her a lot. And she was always there for my class. She did a great job, but I could tell it really meant something that I knew her, and I actually still stay in contact with her.
I think that's all I have. I'll let y'all go.
Anybody else have any questions or anything they'd like to discuss or fuss about or disagree with? Go ahead, please.
I'll just say, so I've always been jealous of Heather's ability to learn names after like 2 microseconds of meeting her students. Names are a struggle for me. And so the first thing we do in class after I tell them, hey, I'm Paul, I'm your UNIV tour guide for the semester, we make name tents. And that gives them a way, one, kind of right there at the beginning, we're practicing, I call it the standard college introduction. Hey, my name is so-and-so, home is here, my major is, and a goal that I have. And we do that so that, one, I can start seeing name right by face, and that helps me. But also I can go in and they'll leave it with me every day at the end of class, and I'll write, if we're having a good conversation, I might write feedback in their name tent or let their peer mentor leave a note for them in their name tent. So it's also just another way for me to give feedback during the semester.
Another great thing that Paul and Heather and other instructors utilize is instructional technology by creating flip grids where students put their, they create a short 1-minute introduction and then they upload it. And so you see their face and then they kind of think it's fun. And again, that's one of the trainings and the workshops on the YouTube channel. You can always check that out. Anything else y'all would like to share? We have a few more minutes, but hey, I don't want to hijack your time and I could give you a little bit back. Well, I truly appreciate your time. Again, we'll have weekly sessions similar to this. Please bring your questions, your ideas, your experiences. We'll be flexible and change things around if we need to. Feel free to reach out to me and to any other one of these wonderful, fabulous faculty members. And I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Amy, can you hang on the Zoom for me after?
I'll be happy to. Just don't let me forget to stop recording if we're going to chit chat personally. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you next week. And if not, I'll send the recording.
Hey, Amy, I'll get with you later too, so I can have more clarity on this peer mentoring thing, because I'm not.
Yes,
comfortable with
I
that at all.
completely understand, and I will help you and walk you through it. It's really great. We'll get y'all together.
Okay.
You kind of get to set how you want it too, so it doesn't have to be what I say. You know what I
Does
mean?
someone come to my class?
They come to your every class, and they're available outside of class. If your students need assistance, they go meet them in the library for their hour or two, and they answer their questions. So it's a support to you
Okay.
to connect your students.
Does each one of my students get a peer mentor?
Okay, it's two ways. We have one embedded tutor that we pay
Uh-huh.
to come and work by attending your classes. Mentor Collective is a program that we have purchased from a national company where we pair upperclassmen with freshmen, and they
Okay.
have a one-on-one mentor.
So that's separate.
That is separate.
Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes, ma'am. And you won't have anything to do with that. You just want to encourage them to get one. You'll have the
Right.
link. Hey,
So
guys.
they would have to instigate that. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry for interrupting
Yeah,
y'all.
it's okay. No
I just
problem.
thought of that and I wanted to be sure. Y'all have a good day.